We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin. And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this.
And what this is Gator Hammock. Kind of a mess of a label here. Oops. Kind of a mess of a label here. Swamp mustard. And so there is not a review of this on the Stars Are Also Fire blog, because this is not calling itself a hot sauce. The only things on that blog, besides the updates and some of the commentary about hot sauce shops, is hot sauce reviews. So if a manufacturer wants to say that their mustard-based sauce is a hot sauce, I'll take them at their word and we'll do a full review. But if they don't specifically say hot sauce, then I'm considering them as mustards. Mustards, barbecue sauces, things of that nature do not go in the blog. Historically have not. And that's kind of what the video series of the everything else, the FOH everything else, that's really what that is meant to cover, is a lot of the non-hot sauce content. So let's take a look here at the ingredient panel. And as you can see, we have a laundry list of stuff. Some of the usual things that you see in mustard, some of the things that are a bit unusual for mustard. Apple cider vinegar, guavas jumping out. We have a hot sauce, a Louisiana style hot sauce pumped into this. We have key lime juice, red habaneros. Cayenne pepper shows up again, as does jalapeno, crushed red pepper. And we see celery seed. I thought I saw poppy seed in here once upon a time, but maybe I don't. Maybe I'm just dreaming that. That just might be the celery seed that we see here. But you can see there is quite a bit to this. It's this sort of pale yellow color with, shot through with these flecks of black. It looks nice. It's a nice looking mustard. It's not the bright yellow of like a Plockman's or French's like that. But you can see it does have a very, very obvious mustard to it. It is very runny though. I think this is probably the runniest mustard I think I've ever used. Which, honestly, I think that's kind of a bit of a problem with mustards. I don't know that this seems to me like it should almost be more of a hot sauce on the labeling than strictly a mustard, because you can see it's very, very runny. But okay, away we go. I'm getting black pepper, getting a little bit of the apple cider vinegar, which I don't prefer. A little sweetness to it. I am getting, of course, mustard as well. And there's a slight tinge of what I'm reading is maybe a Louisiana style sauce. So I like this mustard. Flavor wise, I think it's really good. One of the problems is if you don't agitate this enough though, you can get some of those individual components. And I don't always find those favorable, especially when there's stuff like that apple cider vinegar. So, heat is very minimal. I would be reluctant to call this even a 1, actually, despite all those peppers in it. So, what I made was one of my biggest uses for mustard in addition to things like, you'd put it on hot dogs and stuff like that. I use it there, of course, as well. This one actually, and let me just talk about that for a second. This is a bit too runny for me to even attempt to use on something like that, because all it's going to do is sog out the bread. Now I know a lot of people like their bread mushy and sogged out and stuff, like you see it on some of the food shows and whatnot. I hate that. I like my bread to be firm and to be able to stand up to whatever it is that's inside of it. And if you put in some really juicy sauerkraut on your dog, for instance, and then you throw this in on top of it, you're just going to wind up soaking the bun, and you're going to have a handful of mush, of sour cabbage and bread mush at the end of it. And so that is a touch of a problem to me. So let's get to what I made. So what I made is, I made basically just a egg salad sandwich, which we're going to stuff into pitas here in just a minute. So I made an egg salad sandwich here, and I made potato salad on this channel. I've made deviled eggs on this channel. I made other things with mustard, of course. This one is very similar to how I made the deviled eggs. I like to have, you see I've stirred in the paprika, but basically you have a rough chop on the eggs. So I don't measure anything. When you made something enough times, you know what certain quantities look like approximately. So with the mayo, I put enough of the mayo in there, just basically just to touch the pieces of the eggs. The eggs are actually a rough chop that I just mashed with my fork. I don't worry about sizing too much, because as you mix it up, it'll actually break the pieces smaller and smaller. So I usually leave the eggs pretty roughly chopped, just enough so I can actually start combining stuff. And then I put in maybe one of these spoonfuls of like a dill relish. Sometimes I'll use chopped jalapenos. Usually I'll just kind of guess at that. With the dill relish I have right now, I have to use it a little bit less because it's very liquidy. So that's kind of why you see some of the, you can see there's kind of a sheen to some of this. You can see there's a little bit of, looks like pooling there, and that's because of that. And then I put in this, and I basically just season this to taste. So I'll put some in there, stir it up, see where it is, and then I'll just do it again. Normally I like to have yellow mustard in this, and if I use yellow mustard, then I will use jalapenos. In this case, because I'm testing the mustard, I don't want to also modify how it reads by adding in other peppers. So, alright, so we're just going to fill these pockets right here, pita pockets. And I've done this with soggy buns, and I'll just hollow all the bread out of the buns. And this one I got actual pita pockets just because I figured that might be easier to have something that's actually designed to do that rather than me having to tear out a whole bunch of bread. And stuff this in here. It depends on the jalapenos. Which one do I like better, pickles or jalapenos? It really kind of depends. I'm a little trouble getting all this. I should have got a smaller bowl, I guess, in hindsight, but well, whatever. Okay, we want to get all this out of here, so I might not have enough to actually fill this half. That'd be kind of annoying. Oh well, whatever. Close enough. I made this with 3 eggs. Usually, if I get the really big eggs, sometimes I'll just use 2. Most of the time I'll use 3 though. Just hard-boiled eggs. Alright, let's get that. Alright, let's put that off over there. So we have 2 very nice, let's see if we can get this. I don't want to break this apart. Alright, let's we have 2 of these here. Let's start with the smaller one. It's a little bit busted up here, so we'll do that. We'll start with this one. I should have warmed up this pita bread. I like pita bread a little bit warm. In this case, though, I actually had this sitting overnight because I think the spices gel better. Oh, you're making a potato salad, you have to make it the day before, right? Give all those things time to just sit and work themselves out together. And this one I actually made overnight because I think this sort of egg salad it does better overnight. And I also like my egg salad chilled. But I think these pitas would have been better warm. It's almost a creamy texture to it. It makes a quite good egg salad. I will say that. If it was thicker, I wouldn't say it's my favorite mustard, but if it was thicker, I think it would be in the running. I do like this quite a bit. Now, egg salad and with deviled eggs, I do think I kind of prefer the straight yellow just a little bit more. And that just could be because I've had so many times. I'm going to pour a little extra into this. I'll be a little careful how I do this. And I wouldn't do this with a normal mustard, I don't think. But this one, because it's so watery, I think it'll probably flow and just be alright. And it tasted almost exactly right yesterday. I'm just going to try to massage this a little bit. But after sitting overnight, I think we had a lot of more melting than I was thinking we would. And this mustard is it actually got lost. I want to try to bring it up a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Right there. And Gator Hammock, of course, is one of the older sauce companies. They've been around for as long as I've been doing the blog. So they've been around quite a while. I can't remember. I think the guy that does it might be in the Hot Sauce Hall of Fame. I also, so if I use jalapenos or something, or if I actually cut pickles instead of using relish, I'm trying to use that relish up. If I cut pickles, I'll put it in something like a burrito where I have more of a contrast to textures. This one in the pita is just it's a touch hard to control, but it is magnificent.
Just excellent. Man.
What can I say? I'm well pleased with this. I don't dig the apple cider vinegar. I wish that was something else. That is probably my only complaint about this stuff. Other than that, well, actually, sorry. That was a lie. I wish it wasn't quite so runny also. Those two things aside, yeah, this is just a tremendous entry. I've enjoyed this bottle. It's got about a third of this left. I somehow double ordered it, so I've got another one behind this even. So I'll be enjoying this for a while, definitely. But I do have some other ones, of course, coming up as well. I'm gonna try to get in a mustard a month at least for summer grilling season. See what we can do. It might just be all burgers that I have it on, but the sweeter ones, the honey mustards and stuff, we might do a little something with chicken on those. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Definitely this year, I'm gonna try to make sure that I'm grilling as much as possible. So, hopefully we'll be able to incorporate that some in some of our future videos. But anyway, for now, that is the Gator Hammock Swamp Mustard. Now go forth in peace. Serve the flame.